Welcome to the Steel Birds podcast, starring your hosts, Corey King and Harry Brockington IV, a.k.a. Brock. What's good, Brock?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just out here chilling. Got a fresh cut,
I see that.
trying to do the thing. Yep. What's good with you?
Yes, sir. Same old, man. Today's the first day of rookie mini camp, so another day closer to the actual thing, but slowly but surely.
Yeah. I think the Eagles started theirs last Friday because I saw some clips of there was one clip going around. It's like Johnny Wilson standing next to John Ross, had him looking like a little kid out there because John Ross is at our.
Oh, he went to y'all.
Eagles,
I did see it. Yeah. Dang. Yeah.
But I haven't heard if he did anything special. But yeah, they were out there.
I think some last week and this week, and then maybe next week. I think it's all at different times.
Yeah. But so today we're going to, just kind of talk about the draft some more, kind of our thoughts, now that the dust has settled, kind of our expectations going into the season for some players and draft picks. And then we're just going to, I think next week the schedule comes out. So we're just going to kind of right now go over win totals for every team, see who, we think is going to do better or worse than their win total. And then next week when the schedule comes out, we'll kind of look back at it and see, if we feel better or worse about where we had our picks. Because, the schedule kind of affects how many wins you're going to have. Like, people know who they're going to play, but, if you have a stretch of games that are harder than you thought, like, that could really mess with
the arrangement
wins.
Matters. And home and away matters. So.
And rest, all of that, travel time. Going across the country to play somebody, all that. So, and then after that, get into that grind our gears segment. I got kind of a long one, but we'll get into it. So let's hop into any recent news for y'all. Steelers do anything?
We picked up Scotty Miller. He got drafted to the Bucks. He was playing there when Tom Brady got traded there.
Right.
And then he was with the Falcons last year with Arthur Smith. So it seems like every person that, kind of was tied to Arthur is ended up on the Steelers. We got one of their tight ends. We got a quarterback. So it's a lot of that going on. Right. So I think it's more of a obviously depth piece, but like he wants people that know his offense to be able to teach it to the people who are going to be starting and all that. So it's more of like a plan to have a player that's kind of like a coach on the field type of thing. But also, I was also thinking about just, with this wide receiver 2 problem that we're having, it could just be him acquiring, some dudes so that we can send those players with, draft picks to whatever team. Because, most of the time when you're trading, somebody who is the wide receiver 1 or 2 on your team, you want more than just picks. So we have a lot of wide receiver 3s and 4s that we have acquired. So I feel like that might be for a reason. But other than that, just first day of rookie camp. Troy Fautanu has been spotted at right tackle for 100% of the snaps. So I think that's gearing up for Broderick to go back to left, like Omar Khan had alluded to. So everything is shaping up to be good and what we expected.
And that's what you wanted?
Yeah, man, because I know right when he got drafted, I think Charles Davis was like, he played tackle at Washington, but he's going to be, a guard for the Steelers. And I think we even talked about that. I'm like, why are we doing that? Like, don't start that. So, but for me, I was like, I wanted him to be a tackle. I didn't care if he was left and they just kept Broderick at right. But like, Broderick was a left tackle for his whole life. And that's where he, got his Division I offers from. That's where he got drafted based off of was left tackle. So it's like, all right, why don't we just have him be there? And then Omar came out in the presser before the draft saying, he was drafted as a left tackle and we expect him at a certain point, whenever that is, to be a left tackle. So that kind of made me feel like, all right, he's just kind of alluding to whoever we're going to take in the draft. And so it seems like that's what it's going to be. So that was good news to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And, Troy Fautanu has like the versatility and the athleticism to really play wherever. So right tackle shouldn't be that hard of a transition for him.
Yeah.
ideally. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think there was any news on the Eagles front in terms of like, you know, signings or, you know, I didn't spot anything. I just saw clips of some players at rookie minicamp, but you know,
Right.
as of right now, they just said Cooper DeJean is going to start, you know, learning like outside corner, I guess. So they're
Okay.
going to try him at corner and, you know, learn some slot too.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. You know, there were concerns coming into the draft that he didn't have the, you know, the hip mobility and the like fluidity to play outside corner, but the Eagles are going to, you know, try him out there and see how he fits in, and
Yeah.
we'll see
He'll be a starter
where he ends up
somewhere on the
going. But
defense, you know,
yeah,
if that doesn't
definitely.
work out, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, um, that is about it there. Let's transition now into you know, our expectations and, you know, just kind of talk about that, I guess.
Sounds good.
Okay. So let's see. I guess my question for you or for us is, you know, going into the draft, kind of like what did you expect uh like from the Steelers? What did you think like they were looking to do and upgrade, and did they meet those expectations? Do you feel like the team is like ready to go, and you know, like what players do you think need to like step up, or you know, did they
Yeah,
draft the right
yeah.
people to do what you wanted pre and post draft?
Yeah, pre-draft, I think we talked about it too on here. It's just I figured I didn't know what order it was going to go in, but I figured it was going to be, you know, a tackle. You know, whether they made Broderick stay at right and then put whoever we drafted at left, or made Broderick go back to left and put whoever we drafted at right. I figured it was going to be a tackle, a center, and then either wide receiver or corner could be in that third pick area. And so they basically did, you know, just not in the order I figured. That, you know, we got those pieces in Troy Fautano and Zach Frazier for our center.
For
And then
sure.
we went with Roman Wilson for wide receiver with our first third round pick. And, you know, I had heard a lot of, you know, analysts and just insiders that I follow say that they really liked Roman's tape, and, you know, they felt like he could be a Steelers guy. And, you know,
Yeah,
he reminded
Mike
them of.
Mike Mike Renner, the he used to work for PFF. He said some of his buddies in the draft analyst world were calling him the anti Deontay Johnson because he's gonna do all the like nitty gritty hard work stuff. Like he's gonna block his ass off and try really hard and not
Yeah,
look like
that's
he
what.
quits on plays. So he's the
Right.
anti Deontay Johnson, which I thought
I
was funny.
seen that people said that he's gonna be like Hines Ward, and I was like, bro, what? I was like, that's the thing that really bothers me sometimes about Steelers fans. Like, they want all the new generation dudes to be so bad like a previous dude. I'm like, bro, he's nothing like Hines.
Yeah,
Like, he has like that like confidence and grit, but like I feel like most football players, like we all played, like have that confidence in themselves, that violence, because that's what it kind of takes to play the sport in general. But dude
for
is way
sure.
faster than Hines. His routes, I would say, no disrespect to Hines, is a lot better. And Hines is more like a beefier dude, you know, blocker. Now, Roman has already said, came out in a presser saying that like he looks forward to like knocking dudes on their asses and being physical, which is great. But like there are two different wide receivers in my opinion. But to that point, you know, I didn't think that was going to be the pick. I wanted, you know,
Yeah,
like a Troy Franklin, you know, AD
Javon Baker, you
Mitchell.
liked?
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
Javon Baker. You know, there's other guys that I liked, but I like that he has some speed. You know, that's obviously what you want in the NFL nowadays, but you can't just, you know, just be that, because we already have a guy on the roster, you know, Calvin Austin the third, that, you know, ran 4.3 sub 4.3. He hasn't really acclimated to, you know, the NFL level yet, and it could have been, you know, several things, because he broke his foot, and then we had, you know, Matt Canada as a OC. So, but I want to be able to tell that he can run a full route tree, because a lot of his routes, when you look at it, are all crossing routes. They're digs or slants. He didn't really
yeah,
run a full route tree at Michigan, so I'm interested to see if he can do that with us. The Peyton Wilson pick was a surprise to me. I'm glad we got him though, but that I didn't think we were going to go linebacker really at all. But yeah, going into the draft, I figured some things, and they came out with maybe not necessarily the guys that I thought we were going to draft, but the positions definitely. And even we didn't draft a I would say a true corner, because we did take in the 6th round Ryan Watts, who's a DB from Texas. He's a bigger corner, but he's been put at safety. He was a safety in high school. He played safety at Ohio State when he originally came out of high school, and then transferred over to corner. But we have a guy in Beanie Bishop, who's an undrafted free agent from West Virginia, who is looking promising. They're saying he possibly could fill that role. So even with our undrafted choices, I kind of really liked what we did, and we got a lot of A's, A pluses in our grading from PFF and other analysts. So I definitely think we came out a lot better of a team than we were before. So I can't complain, man. I'm glad that they have a clear mindset in what they wanted to do, and they're following it. So let's just hope that everyone stays healthy so that can come to fruition.
Yeah, and even with the Roman Wilson pick, my mind immediately went to when's the last time the Steelers missed on a receiver?
That too.
It seems like they're always finding value, in AB, George Pickens. They're always finding a dude 2nd, 3rd round who's gonna be a dog at
even
receiver,
when he was with us,
Juju
he was
too.
balling.
Yeah.
He kind of fell off after that, but we always get some type of value. So I'm not too worried about it. It just wasn't the pick that I would have made. But at the end of the day, if he's doing what he needs to do to take pressure off of GP, I'll be happy.
Yeah, definitely. And then on the Eagles front, I feel kind of the same way. I really thought the secondary was in trouble. We were slow, we were older, didn't look like we had playmakers out there. Same with the linebacker position, but we kind of addressed it. But the DBs were way more of a problem, in my opinion. So, in one of my mocks, I think we talked about in the pod earlier, I had us taking 2 corners. I think we did 3-round mock, and I had us taking 2 corners, and then it just worked out that way for the Eagles. They went their first 2 picks, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, getting DBs. Technically 2 corners, but really a corner and just a DB who can
hybrid guy,
play wherever. Yeah, so that was really important that we did that, and they're fast too. It's not just guys who can just play the position. They're fast playmakers, people who make plays on the ball, which was severely lacking. We were not good in creating turnovers and stopping big plays and those sorts of things. We were bottom of the league in a lot of coverage and those type of metrics. So yeah, that was something I needed the Eagles to address, and they definitely did. And then just taking chances on positions that we had slight needs on. We needed another depth piece or another player who can fit the rotation in edge, and we took Jalix Hunt, who's they said he played DB back in the day, but now he's an edge. So his body type and the way he moves is just very different from other edges. So, it could work, which I like, just trying shit out. Anais Smith is another one, and Johnny Wilson, those are guys who can, just try and put them in at receiver 3, because receiver 3 is a position that was kind of a big need for us. If Devontae or AJ goes down, it's who's going to be the next guy to step up? Is it please don't be Devontae Parker? We got Paris Campbell too, but it's we needed somebody else to get in there, which is good. And then just I guess the biggest hit of the draft, I guess, that could make the biggest impact to me is if Jeremiah Trotter works out, then everything else will just be perfect to me, because that's one where it's we address the DBs. I don't think Cooper DeJean or Quinion are going to be busts. I think they're going to be good, if not great players for us. And then, besides that, our D-line is going to be solid. It's just the linebackers. Just if Jeremiah Trotter can go out there and play, then we're good to go. And, Super Bowl run is back on. So
I feel like the tandem with him and Devin White, if Devin can play what he needs to do, being an athletic backer himself, but also being big. If he can just play the way he should be, the way he was playing at LSU, like then I think you got you got to have both. You got to have both guys that are in there doing it. But yeah, to your point, if they can get that together, then yeah, I don't really see any like chinks, any like I don't see any weaknesses in the armor for you guys because at the end of the day, that's what it really was. It was like the whole back half of the defense just was collapsing, and it was just the front four guys doing everything, and you can't have that.
Yeah. It's hard to get pressure as a D lineman when the ball is being thrown in 2.2 seconds. If there's no coverage, then the D line can't get there. They work in tandem, so it's like the D line will be better because the DBs will be better, and then the DBs will play better because the D line will get home more. So
right.
I'm excited to see how it all plays out, and the fact that we have a proven defensive coordinator taking the reins. It's not, Sean Desai. I didn't think he was terrible, but the fact that they fired him so quickly was, I guess that's telling. They just didn't have a lot of confidence in what he was doing, and then handing it over to fucking Matt Patricia was just the nail in the coffin. So, we have Vic Fangio out there. He's gonna make sure the defense runs well. Some of these picks that we made were guys that he liked. So, I trust that he knows what he wants and he can, execute with the players that were given to him. So
yeah,
that's all good to see. And then offensively, I just thought, just receiver 3 and then, just depth at right guard and right tackle for Lane, and just having pieces like ready to step up if something happens. And I'm not too worried about the offense. So I didn't have any sort of like expectations of them needing to address anything in particular, but they did. So they did the things that I kind of was worried about, which was receiver 3 and guard, and like just guard and tackle backups.
Right.
But yeah, that's another one where it's like we have a new OC, Kellen Moore, who has done good things with the offenses he's been in. So
yeah,
he has pieces to play with. Yeah, so all things considered, like I think it should be a very good bounce back year for the Eagles, and if not, then something happened, and we'll get there when we get there. But yeah.
So what about let's talk about just expectations, I guess, for some of these picks. Even the later round guys, possibly undrafted free agents, and just so where do you see, based off your guys' picks, guys who are just going to get on the field week 1? They're going to be the starter. Maybe some guys that are just depth pieces, or some dudes that might need a year or 2 to get acclimated to everything, type of thing.
Yeah, I think the first 2 picks for sure are guys that have to and should start day 1.
Right.
Where exactly, I'm not sure, but I would assume it's going to be Slay and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, and then Cooper DeJean in the slot or safety role.
Right.
If not, some sort of rotation where he's getting in on the outside too. And then, we still have James Bradbury, so I don't really know where he fits in because he's more of an outside corner, and we played him in the slot out of need and injury in the past. But if we drafted 2 corners and they're saying Cooper DeJean's going to play outside corner too right now, I don't really know where he fits in if he's going to get cut. So I think I have high expectations and really hope that Quinyon can meet those, being a lockdown outside corner opposite of Slay.
Right.
And then Cooper DeJean is just someone that, I think can come in and, like make plays on the ball and just do whatever he needs to do to just stay on the field. I think he can play wherever. So it's just going to be interesting to see, like, if they're committed to him playing on the outside, then it's going to be interesting, because it's like Slay. We have Slay, obviously, and it's going to be Quinyon and him on one side, and then where's I don't know what their plan is for the slot. We have Avante Maddox, and then we have Keely Ringo's still there. We have other guys. Just I don't really know what their plans are. But those 2 picks are for sure guys I expect to start, if not play a ton from the jump from week 1.
Agreed.
In Brazil, I think it's Eagles Packers in Brazil, I think, is our first game. So yeah, that's who I have high expectations for.
Okay.
What about y'all?
I would say I think Troy, and Zach are going to be day one
Yeah,
starters for sure.
yeah,
They're plug and play guys. I think Roman, even regardless of us, I think we were definitely going to still trade for a wide receiver too. And so whoever that ends up being, there's been, rumblings about Darius, Slayton, because the Giants wide receiver room is kind of, flooded right now. They have a ton of dudes, and then either Noah Brown or John Minchie from the Texans, because they have a flooded wide receiver room as well. So whoever
yeah,
that wide receiver two guy is, I still expect Roman to be that slot dude and kind of beat out uh, Quez or Calvin Austin third. And then from there, kind of it's kind of like is it going to be a depth piece or a bringing them along type of thing with Peyton. I would love for him to be ready to start, day one with Patrick. But if Cole comes back, he might surprise. People are saying that the injury is a little bit worse, but there's always guys who work and through adversity and get back earlier. We still have a Landon Roberts, who obviously is a veteran guy, and he stepped up big time when Cole and Quan Alexander got hurt and played amazing. So he's gonna have to do a lot of on the field and in the books in the classroom, like learning the defense and stuff like that to kind of overcome those two, unless he's just way more athletic than everybody else and kind of just shows out. And then Mason McCormick, the guard that we took from South Dakota State, I
yeah,
definitely think he's more of a depth piece for right now. But who knows, if he outplays right now in camp, the mini rookie camp, they're saying he's at right guard. So that's where James Daniels is. And so if he outplays James, then I guess he'd be a starter. But for right now, I kind of see him being brought along. James is going to be a free agent next after this season. So if we were to let him go and not re-sign him, then he would just step into that role. So I kind of see that for him. And then the last two picks in Logan Lee from Iowa and Ryan Watts, Texas. I definitely think that Logan is going to be a depth piece right now. He expects to play in the edge, but they kind of see him as an interior guy, and we have some interior guys. We still have Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, our second round pick from last year, who played very well. So I don't see him being, a starter right away. And then Ryan Watts, maybe we see him as a safety, but we have Minka. We picked up Deshaun Elliott. We still have DeMonte Casey. So we're kind of good on safety. We really need a slot dude. So if he can play slot, but he's 6'3", 220 pounds, so he's a bigger guy. Usually the bigger guys aren't in the slot. But if he shows that he can play, that he might be able to take over that role. So I'm excited about camp to see who carves out a role for themselves. But I kind of only really see the first three guys as like, week one starters.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. I feel like the Mason McCormick pick is one of those where I haven't heard a single draft analyst talk down like bad about that one. That's one where everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he's a dog." Like he's someone
Yeah.
that I think could really get in there and play right away for you
And that
guys.
was a random pick too. That like everyone was like, "Whoa!" Like in real time when I watched it, but like even whoever was covering at the time was like, I think it was watching Daniel Jeremiah. He was like, "Whoa, God," because like everyone thought we were kind of done with the offensive
Right.
lineman, and that could have been a pick where we tried to get maybe a double dipping wide receiver, or that could have been the slot corner for us right there. But that was surprising to me. But yeah, to your point, when I hopped on Twitter to see kind of what people were talking about, everyone was saying like that's a Steeler. That's the mindset that
Yeah.
they want. And so, he could very well, overtake James Daniels on at some point, whether it's due to just outplaying him or injury. But definitely think he's going to be a solid piece at some point. So yeah, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, definitely. One other thing that I forgot to talk about with that, now with the new kickoff rules and just with the players we have, the returner position is like kind of wide open for us because we had Brent Covey, who was our punt returner, and him and Boston Scott were our kick returners. But now with Cooper DeJean and Anaya Smith, and I think Will Shipley too, all those dudes have return experience. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, who they end up putting out there. But we have a lot of guys now who are very athletic and fast who can be returners for us. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the first punt of the game, Cooper DeJean is back there instead of Britton Covey,
Definitely.
you know,
Yeah,
take it to the crib. So
yeah.
that could be exciting and an upgrade. Not Britton Covey actually had a good year last year in terms of returning. I think at one point he had the most 10+ yard returns or something. So he definitely was surprisingly better than years prior. But, you know, if there's someone who can, you know, do better than that, then throw him out there and let's see. So we'll definitely see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think for Steelers that's going to be the same thing. Like our punt return was always Calvin Winston, and I think he'll still be the punt returner for them. But we didn't really have a solid kick returner. Like there was a bunch of dudes back there doing it. But
and you got the GOAT now, Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, so now obviously he'll probably take that over. But I think there can still be two guys at return. Is that still a thing with the new rule that there's still two back
for kick returns? I think it's one now.
It's only one.
Okay, actually, no, you're right. No, it is two.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I thought it was two. So I don't know who would be.
You're right.
With him, so we'll see who gets to carve out a role for themselves. Maybe they do put Calvin back there for that as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets to.
I think in the XFL, it was one, but for the NFL, they wanted two. They wanted two guys back there. So yeah, right. I think it is two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got with that. You want to talk about these win totals now?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, bet. Okay, so now we're just gonna run through the win totals. I kind of acquired a list here from some random site that had a bunch of sports books on there. So just based on these, they could change. I think they've already changed some based on how teams drafted. But
yeah,
we're just going to run through every team and just say over or under, and if we got more to talk about for each, then we can. But yeah,
cool.
Let's just go through it. So I got the first on my list is the San Francisco 49ers at 11.5. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think unfortunately, if there's any Niners fans watching, that they're going to go over that. They still have their main core there. Now, obviously, if they end up John Lynch has said that they're not going to trade Debo or Brandon Ayuk, but we know these GMs, they lie. I mean, Kenny Pickett was our guy, and then I think it was 6 days later he was gone. So like these, they're going to say what they need to say. Barring that, obviously if Brandon Ayuk were to leave, I would say that would be, because he was obviously a big key part of the team. But I feel like if it's Debo, maybe it's still that. So I think it's going to be around that as long as, they don't trade Brandon Ayuk. I think they'll have 12, 13 wins.
So you say over?
Yeah, over.
Officially? Okay. I'm a hater. I don't want them to get that many wins. I don't think they're going to get that many wins.
Big time hater too.
I'm gonna say under. I think, Brock Purdy is still just outplaying, what he actually is, and I just still don't believe. So I'm gonna say under. The next I got is the Baltimore Ravens at 11.5 as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under with the Ravens.
Under.
I think this is gonna be kind of like a down year for them. They had a decent draft for sure, but I don't really. They haven't really gotten wide receiver figured out. In my opinion, they have Zay. He's a true threat, and he had a great rookie season. Rashad Bateman has been a ghost. He definitely has not met or exceeded what he was supposed to be. And then they got dude from out of SC over there. What's his name? That's their third. I can't think of his name, but he was from he was out of SC. He's
They
bounced
drafted him,
around.
or
No, he's been like a journeyman. Let me check
oh,
real
okay,
quick.
yeah. While you look
But
that up,
yeah,
I would say yeah, under 12 is a lot, and
yeah,
they had a great year last year, and
they did.
they really whooped on teams. I don't think it's going to be that easy for them. And
Nelson Aguilar, that's him.
oh yeah, of course,
Yeah,
yeah,
so he obviously he's a great possession wide receiver. He's gonna do what he needs to do here and there. And then they did get Devontae Walker from North Carolina, but he's a rookie, and I don't see him doing what Zay um, did. I think he'll be a solid receiver, maybe to take over that third spot if they don't re-sign Nelson. But I think the true threat is just really Zay and obviously um, Andrews at the tight end spot. So
yeah.
I know they got
And
Derrick
they
Henry.
lost they yeah, yeah, and they lost their defensive coordinator who
Right,
had dudes playing. They had
amazing.
Jadeveon Clowney and these kind of journeyman defenders playing at Pro Bowl levels. So we
Yeah,
really don't know what their defense is going to be. So they
yeah.
could really fall off on that side of the ball as
Joe's
well.
coming back, and then we got better. So it's just like they're gonna have to deal with a lot that they didn't have to. I feel like last season.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna go under for them.
yeah. I got the Kansas City Chiefs next at 11.5 as well.
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah, that's just like every year. It's just, there's really just no reason to
Doubt him anymore.
ever doubt. Yeah, I mean they're trying to three-peat. Unless something catastrophic happens, they're going to have a chance to three-peat. So I don't.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
got the wide
I don't
receivers
see
down
any
there.
reason.
So
Yeah, yeah. Um, the next is I have the Detroit Lions at 10.5.
I'm gonna say over. No, they had a
Yeah,
disappointing end. People wanted to blame Dan Campbell. I even was upset at Dan because I wanted him. I wanted him to get. I mean, the Packers were supposed to get the Niners first, and
yeah,
then Jordan Love throws the interception. On first down when they're trying to come back, and then he had a chance to get him, and he did what he
yeah.
did. Now
The NFC North failed us in the playoffs.
big time, man. And so,
Yeah,
but to that point, he did say in the locker room right after they lost, we may not ever get back here.
yeah,
It takes a
yeah,
lot to get back here. But you know what? I love that he said that to them because that as a player, it's probably like, damn, well, so this is going to be it for our, like, this is going to be the best that we see for our career. That kind of, I feel like was like a heater. Like he wanted to like kind of motivate them, even though that was like a
yeah,
really sad feeling at the end of the season. So I feel like they're going to come back, and their defense is going to be a lot better. With like they got corners now too. So I'm excited for them, and I think they'll definitely go over that.
yeah. And like you said, he told them that. But who knows better than him? He played in the NFL. He coached in the NFL for years before he became a head coach. He knows. Like
Yeah,
sometimes, if you don't get it in that 1 year, you're,
yeah.
that was it. That was your
The
chance.
window's always closing. So
Yeah, yeah. The next I have the team where you're just talking about. I have the Green Bay Packers at 10.5.
you know what? Man, I think Jordan Love is legit. I don't think he's gonna fall off. I know some people
I
are like,
agree.
well, he has to do it, and that is true. He does have to do it
Yeah,
consistently to show us. But man, he has all the tools, and he showed that him sitting was fine for him. So I think I'm gonna go over with that. I think that they're
yeah.
gonna be right there with the Lions too.
Um, I'm blanking on their coach's name. What's their coach's name?
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur. I feel like every year they're a 10 or 11 win team. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
always he's had a high winning percentage the minute he became a head coach, and they're
Yeah,
only going to get better. They were young as hell, the youngest team I think in the league, if
25.
not yet, or if not definitely the youngest offense, but I'm
The
pretty sure the
youngest
youngest
offense.
team
Yeah,
too. Yeah, so
everybody at the oldest is 25 on that offense. So
yeah, and that was a draft where this year I thought this was a draft where they could have traded up and made a big swing at something. They kind of just did their thing. They just kind of draft
yeah, they
what
had a
they
lot of
expect to
picks.
draft.
So
Yeah,
they
so
yeah.
I feel like with the team that you had, you had a good foundation. Now it's like go get somebody, but we'll see. But nonetheless, I think they're going to go over that easily. The next team I have is my Philadelphia Eagles at 10.5.
Yeah. I said, that last year I feel like was an outlier for you guys and just the collapse of what happened.
Yeah.
And so even if you guys were able to persevere over that, I feel like you guys would have had over that. So this year with the draft that you guys had, I'd say over.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a big bounce back year for our defense and Jalen Hurts. I think sky's the limit for him, and
Yeah.
he hates when people say that. He's like, I don't put limits on myself. It's like, all right, bro.
Yeah, no.
But
He's like a little
anyways,
monk, like,
yeah, they
voodoo
always trying
dude.
to say talking quotes, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think he can have a career year for real with the weapons around him and the new offensive coordinator and a better
Right.
just overall team. So I think they'll get over that. Um, the next is the Buffalo Bills at 10.5 under.
I think this is going to be a disappointing year for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean that's another team where it's like they had their window, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's. I mean, when you have a QB like that, your window is always going to be open in theory, but it's just I don't know. I don't think this is
Yeah.
the year.
No. And I don't feel like they really did enough in the draft. I think Keon will be good for them, but he not mentioning the tight ends. I know Dalton Kincaid had a great rookie year. I think he's going to be crazy for them. They also obviously still have Dawson Knox, but outside of them, just true wide receivers, I don't really see threats, man. Like
Yeah,
it's just Keon. So and he can't just
yeah,
keep throwing it to him, especially when he's a rookie. So I know they have Khalil Shakir, and he's okay. And then is it Curtis Samuel that they picked up?
yeah, yeah,
I think so. And he's just been a burner. He doesn't have routes like that. He just really beats guys with speed. He's also been kind of an injury prone guy. So as far as the offense, it's not clicking for me. So I'm definitely going to say under for them.
yeah. I agree. I'm with you. The next team I got is the Cincinnati Bengals at 10.5.
Man, Joe Cool, if he can just stay healthy, man. And
I know, man.
I'm
Every
not supposed to
year
hate them, but Bengals, man. If out of all the teams in our division, that's the only team I'm like, you know what? When we're playing them, obviously it's rival, but they're cool. I don't like the Browns. I don't like the Ravens. I'm a little bit cooler with them, but he's got to stay healthy, man. He's been injured 3 straight
yeah,
seasons,
yeah,
and so that's been detrimental to them. So I'm not going to say if he stays healthy, man. I'm just going to say it's under. I'm going to say it's under.
under. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even with him being there, I think it's under.
Yeah, I think this is like it for them. Like they're going to be like the Bills next year if they don't win the Super Bowl. I think the team's going to they're going to have to get rid of some players and kind of.
I think they're always going to be
reset.
like kind of average, above average. They're not going to go back to what they were before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we're going to see them go to like another Super Bowl. Like that. Not anytime soon.
But I still think they go over 10.5. I think they can probably get to 11 if with the team they have. And even though Trey Hendrickson and T. Higgins are requesting trades, they're just going to be like, no, get out there and play.
Yeah, I think they both play this season for sure.
Yeah. The next team I have is the Dallas Cowboys at 10.5.
I'm gonna go over because they've been like a 12-13 win team for like the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, they're always good when they don't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying anything about NFC Championship, but yeah, they'll go over that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's another when you have a QB like Dak, you're always going to be in the combo, and I think the rest of the NFC East besides the Eagles isn't great. So that's ideally for them some easy wins. So yeah, I think 10.5 is good for them. So I'm going over there too. The next team I got is the Atlanta Falcons at 9.5. Under.
I'm going under on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's whether Kirk is going to start or Penix somehow, some way plays. Their defense, man. I think they did their due diligence for the offense, and Raheem did what he wanted to do on that front. But the defense is not scary at all.
No,
not even a little bit.
No.
So I don't see them stopping high-powered offense. I don't see them stopping any type of high-powered offense at all.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, they might win their division, but I don't. They can win their division at 9-8, so that's still
Right.
under their win total.
And
So
we don't
yeah,
know what's
that's
going to
probably
happen with the Bucks. Baker could still do his thing again. So yeah, I'm going to say under for them.
yeah. The next one was surprisingly low for me, which is interesting that Vegas had it this low. But the Houston Texans at 9.5 is the next one.
Yeah, that makes me feel like they think that CJ is going to have like a sophomore slump, but I'm going over on that for sure.
Yeah, I'm hammering the over on that. That's they're after the season he had and the moves they made and free agency and the draft. I think even
if he doesn't have the numbers that he had last season and people kind of figure him out through film, which is obviously that's expected, he's not going to fall off a cliff. Like the dude can play, period.
Yeah.
And so as long as you have that, he's become the Dak, the Josh Allen now. So for them, as long as he's on the field, they're going to have a chance. So
yeah. The next team I got is the Miami Dolphins at 9.5.
I'm gonna go under, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I agree. I think the offense will have its moments, but I feel like when they go against good teams,
the other high-powered offenses,
it's not. Yeah, it's just and Tua's just not it to me. So
no, he's not. Man.
Yeah,
and their defense is they're at both their premier edge rushers went out, and now they have drafted their replacements. But they're going to be just rookies in their own right. So yeah, I just don't see them being able to stop high-powered offenses like they weren't able to last season. And then sometimes Tua just has those slumps, man, where he just he's blacking out. So I'll say under for that.
Yeah. The next I have is the New York Jets at 9.5.
I'm gonna go over, man. It's time for Aaron to do his thing.
Man, if they don't at least make the playoffs, that whole organization is getting like
TNT
blown up from start to finish. Yeah. The whole front office, coaching staff, water boys, everybody getting fired if they don't at least make the playoffs. So yeah, they better get to at least 10 wins.
And I think if he stays healthy, they will. I want to see how they use Malachi Corey. I want to see Corley. I want to see if he can run a full route tree or if he's just going to be a gadget dude, because he kind of looks like, excuse me, he kind of looks like more of like a gadget guy coming out of Western Kentucky. But I want to see if he can run that full route tree and take some pressure off of Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that clip on Twitter, but there was like Malachi Corley is cooking.
He ran 1 yard.
Ran a 1 yard. He ran a 1 yard itch.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like let's hope that he can actually run a full route tree.
Yeah,
because the dude is strong. He's only 5'10", 5'11", I think, but dude is strong, built like compact, and so if he can actually run a full route tree with his speed and power, that's going to become something that the defense is going to have to watch, and then Garrett can go and do what he usually does. Yeah,
I'm with you. The next team I have is the Indianapolis Colts at 8.5.
Man, I want AR5 to do his thing this year and stay healthy. Man, but I don't think they have enough right now. I think he bounces back and has a great sophomore year, but they're going to go under.
Okay. Yeah, I think they can get right to 8 or 9. So I'm just going to say over. I think Shane Steichen can make the difference, and I believe in him as a coach. I think they're gonna do enough. Yeah. And
it's all going to be on AR though. Like if he stays healthy, cool. But are you going to be able to play well enough? Is what we've seen the real deal. So I think it's going to be huge, but I don't think it's this year. But we'll see. I would have to say that it's going to be right around that they're going to get close. At least, but I don't see them getting over that.
Yeah. All right. The next team I got is the LA Chargers at 8.5. You going over or under?
Man, I feel like because of, I don't feel comfortable betting against Jim Harbaugh, but like, I feel like because of the tackles that he has now, he already has the quarterback in Justin Herbert. I just feel like the defense kind of has to like lock in and give them some more opportunities, get some takeaways, which I feel like, that'll get taken care of. So I'm going to go over on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think every year he's been a head coach of any team, they've gone over that, college
Yeah.
or the pros. So I
And it's not
think,
like he's coming in with not having the quarterback. The fact that he has Justin
yeah,
Herbert is a big, help to him. So
yeah, big culture change. It's gonna be good for them. Yeah, I'm going over on that. The next team I have is the Cleveland Browns at 8.5.
yeah, they're the rivals. I gotta give them the credit, especially with the defense that they have. Probably have top three defense if it's not number one defense. I like Kevin Stefanski. I like what he's done with the team. Uh, the weak point in the team is obviously the most important spot, which is quarterback. I don't really believe in Deshaun anymore. He hasn't
Yeah,
really shown anywhere close to where he was. Obviously, he's gone through what he's been going through. So if he can just give them above average, consistent QB play, I feel like they can go far. But because of the defense they have and the team that they have, I'm going to go over on that for sure.
I mean, you saw what they did with just Joe Flacco, who is not what he used to be, and
Yeah,
they were able to make the playoffs and compete. If they can get a fraction of what Deshaun Watson was, then they have a chance. And yeah, I like the head coach. I like the defense as well. So I'm gonna go over on that too. The next is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8.5.
yeah, we've talked about this on the field plenty of times. But what we think of what's going on with the Jags and the front office and all that, and Trevor is
And
just
on air, we talked
and
about him
on
on air
yeah
too.
on air
Yeah,
too. A little bit worse off air, but
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, we obviously both like Trevor. We both are rooting for him since Clemson days. But I'm gonna have to go under, man, because I just don't feel like I like the Brian Thomas Jr. pick and their first round pick. I just don't feel like they've done enough. He's probably like the only really key part. I don't see any threat. Offensively outside of him. Their defense is decent. So I'm gonna have to go under. I think this is gonna be kind of a down year for them.
yeah. I agree. They just aren't set up for success. You could have the coach and the QB, but you need help in other factors, and they have yet to have that. And like to your point, even with the defense being they were solid last year, a lot of that was just young guys playing better than expected. But now they may negatively regress. Like you don't always just get better every single year you're in the league. Like
Right.
sometimes you have a good year, sometimes you have a bad year,
Yeah.
and
Sometimes like
they
a
seem like they're
plateau.
primed. Yeah, they seem like they're
Yeah.
primed to have a rough year defensively and as a team. So I'm going under as well. Um, the next team I have is the LA Rams at 8.5.
Yeah, I'm definitely going over on that. Sean McVay is just, he's consistently. I love what he's done as a coach. Really just genius of an offensive mind. I'm never gonna, bet against him, especially when he has the offense that he has, like a high powered offense. He has the three wide receivers. He has a running back, tight end. Obviously, still has the QB. Their line is, very decent. Obviously, they're going to have to do their due diligence and fill in that hole that Aaron Donald has left. But they already kind of started trying to do that with their 2 draft picks, and Jaden Verse and Braden Fisk. So obviously, it's not going to be what it was without him. But I like what he does with teams, and he's always going to hire the right dude. So I'm definitely going to go over on that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, like the Raheem Morris loss and Aaron Donald loss can't be overstated. Like those are huge losses in
All right.
2 really big ways. But they've done a lot to try and address that. They signed Cam Curl, who I liked a lot at safety, Trey White, the corner from Buffalo,
Right.
and then they drafted 2 players for that D line. And the offense is always going to be solid with Sean
Yeah.
McVay and Matt Stafford, healthy Matt Stafford. They should be good. So yeah, I'm gonna go over there too. Um, then it's the Chicago Bears at 8.5.
Man, that's tough because I think they're going to have a really solid team. I'm thinking they're going to have one of the best Bears teams that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
Obviously, they have Caleb that's a rookie. He's going to make those rookie mistakes, but he's not only not a typical rookie, talent wise, but he's also not coming into a typical rookie situation. He's coming in like one of the best. Everyone's been saying this is like one of the best rookie situations. So that paired with who he already is, I'm gonna go with over. I'm gonna go that they get 9 wins. And I think they're gonna start, turning that franchise around and kind of doing kind of what we saw with Bengals, Browns, Lions recently. And I think they're gonna start, being one of those teams that is making the playoffs. They're not really being clowned and disrespected anymore. They're gonna kind of get their respect with this team here in 2024. So I'm gonna go over on that.
Yeah, I think they can go over too. They have everything set up to, like, ideally, if Caleb is in kind of like the mold of CJ Stroud is, they're winning the division and making a run in the playoffs. But it probably won't be that easy for him.
No.
CJ was such a rarity, and he even barely won the division. So
yeah,
I think it will be a lot tougher. That division's a lot more competitive. So
Caleb has a little bit more of a hill to go up.
Yeah, but 9 wins and maybe a wild card spot isn't out of the question. So I think that's right there, perfect for them. Then after that, we got your Pittsburgh Steelers at 8.5.
Yeah, we've talked about this already. Not gonna be a homer or try to be a homer, but it's just like I'm gonna be real and be what it is. That's completely disrespectful. Just the fact of what Omar has done in the 2 seasons of these 2 draft classes that he's had as our GM. We already have, people say, well, they haven't played a snap yet, but we already have better QB situation than we, had prior, regardless of what people think of Russ and Justin, they're both better than Kenny Pickett. We're just going to be honest with that. So having better QB play, having a better offensive schematic scheme, and, the draft picks hopefully hitting, not every draft pick is going to hit. I'm going to say, we're going to have like 10, 11 wins, I would say. I know we have a really tough schedule this year, but 8 is just way too low.
Yeah. I mean, that's
also saying that this would be our first year. Thank you. I want to say that would also say that this would be the first year of a losing record. And we've had way worse teams where Tomlin turned it around. Specifically, Kenny's rookie year, I think we were 4-7 at a point. So it's like, we have way better teams. So unless there's extreme injuries, where we got like 8, 9, 10 dudes out that are all like premier dudes, that's not going to happen. And so they're saying that every year we're going to be last in, the AFC North. And, that hasn't happened, I think, since the 80s. So they can keep saying that over and over again. But it's been a long time since we've been 4th. So, I don't see 8 wins, not even close.
Yeah. I think a winning record is a lock, and then it's just a matter of how many of those tough games on your tough schedule can you get out of there, and hopefully have some playoff success. I know it's been a little bit of a drought, but I think 8 wins is not
more than doable.
yeah, exactly. Next is the Seattle Seahawks at 7.5.
Man, that's kind of a tough one too. Like the new head coach, I think they already have the offense, pretty much set. They got really lucky with those tackles that they were able to get. And they obviously have a wide receiver trio that you'd want. I like what Geno did, and not last year, but the year before in 22. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue to replicate that. He definitely did do it last season, obviously. That's obviously a tough division as well. The Rams are going to be up there. The Cardinals had a really good draft, and we already know what the Niners are. So I'm going to go under, man. I'm going to go under with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they shake out, because it's a whole new culture now. Pete Carroll he's not out the building, I don't think. I forgot what his role is. Yeah, something like that. And but new defensive coordinator, new head coach, it's going to be all different. And their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, I believe, is with the Bears now. So could be a whole new offense too, so we don't know what Geno's going to be and how they're going to look. So,
right.
And like you said, the division is tough. So I think 7 or 8 wins isn't crazy to say. It's not crazy disrespectful. I think there'll be a competitive team, but I think
it's just hard.
I'll go under on that too.
I think it's all gonna really
a lot of question marks.
And they've already kind of said, which was surprising in my opinion, that they didn't really have to speak on this. So it was surprising to me that, getting Sam Howell was interesting to them because they feel like, he kind of got the Commanders kind of gave up on him too soon and that he's really, talented. I'm like, most teams that just get, a backup quarterback don't speak highly of them. They're just like, they acquire them and we don't really hear them talk about it. But the fact that, the head coach was kind of pumping him up and saying, he's excited about him being there, that kind of makes me feel like it might be like a QB battle, which, I mean, obviously that's not good for Geno, but I don't know if it's necessarily good for the team either because Sam Howell, he showed flashes, but he threw a lot of interceptions, made a lot of bad decisions. So that for me, that's why I'm worried about them. It's just a QB play. I don't know if it's going to be able to be enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. Next is the New Orleans Saints at 7.5.
Yeah, under. We're going to go a really strong under on that. We talked about it a little off air. I do believe people should watch out for Spencer Rattler. I think he's going to take that spot from Derek Carr. I'll say, week 6 or 7. I think that's going to be his team. But even with that and him having, a decent rookie season, I just don't, as a whole, the team as a whole is not ready at all. Not even close.
Yeah. They've been in cap hell for a decade now. They're always just, scraping by and
right.
without a QB and a head coach that I don't think is qualified to be a head coach, has never been good anywhere he's been. And just being a Saints hater, I just know that I'm gonna be set. So I definitely going under on that. I don't see them even in I think everyone in that division has got a little better too. So I don't see them doing anything there. The next team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 7.5.
Yeah, I think that's disrespectful. I think that's too low for them. I think Baker, I've been a Baker fan since, his Oklahoma days and just what he's been able to do, continuing to persevere through adversity. You got to love players like that who don't let their situation, dictate what happens to them. And I think they've got a good guy there. He's also matured a lot too. We've seen that he's not the same kind of like knucklehead, I guess you could say. They have the offensive pieces there. Their defense is still, very good. So I'm definitely going to go over on that.
Yeah. I think the only question mark I'd have is just, their offensive coordinators now, the head coach in Carolina. I'm blanking on his name, but
real solid. Someone say, yeah,
something like that. But yeah, he that's the only thing. It's like what we know, Baker is not a bust or anything, but it's like was last year a product of that environment and that offense, or is he back to playing good ball?
Yeah.
So
but even with
I'm
that,
curious
like
to see.
the offense is going to be relatively the same, and I feel like he might not, like, to your point, I would agree with that. He might not have like the same numbers and really go crazy, but I don't feel like it'll be like a catastrophic fall because we know, us being also Niners haters, we feel like if Brock Purdy went to a different team, we're not seeing the stuff that he's doing. That's like a dramatic fall. I would say, his success is definitely the team and who the offense coordinator is, who is the head coach and all that. But with Baker, I feel like even if he doesn't have those crazy numbers, that he'll still do enough, and the offense is still, set enough with that line and those wide receivers that they'll be all right. Definitely 7. They'll get over that 7 mark for sure.
Yeah. Dave Canales is his name.
Canales,
that's the head coach. Next is the Las Vegas Raiders at 6.5.
Yeah, man, I'm rooting big time for Antonio Pierce, but I'm gonna go under on that. Didn't do their due diligence with getting the QB. Obviously, I don't know exactly what the plan was or what they were doing. Maybe they were trying to, trade up, and maybe that's why Falcons ended up getting Michael Penix because Raiders were trying to trade up there, and then they was just like, no, that's who we're taking, type of thing. But whether it's coach speak or not, he's talked very highly of Aiden O'Connell, and I have zero clue as to why that is. Zero. The way he played was, it was very okay. It wasn't even average in my opinion. He had some games where it's like, all right, cool. But to have Devontae Adams it's just, I hope a team saves him. I know he said he wants to be there, but to finish out his career, I hope it doesn't have to be like that because, you can't just keep waiting and keep waiting and keep waiting to get that QB, especially when you're in your 30s as he already is. So I'm definitely going to go under on that. And they got to find the QB immediately, or I don't feel like Antonio's going to be there very long.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce, like you said, but that organization just feels like they can never stay out of their own way. You're always hearing and seeing dumb shit that they do, and they always seem to just pick the wrong players and do the wrong things, even though, that's a franchise everyone likes. I feel like everyone likes when the Raiders are good,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not seeing it, and that division is gonna be a little better, We'll see what the Broncos are, but the Chargers are definitely going to be better, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Chiefs
so
are what they are, yeah. So,
yeah,
man, to your point, they already have Bo Nix. I'm sorry, whatever he ends up being is going to be better than what the Raiders have. We can say that, regardless of him being a bust 100%. Or him being average, whatever. He is better than Aiden O'Connell today. So, I'm sorry, but that's just what it is.
100%. Yeah. Next team is the New York Giants at 6.5.
Man, I want to like the Giants so bad just because, I like Coach Dable. I think he's cool. I think, the things that he implements and his attitude towards coaching, I really like, the way he goes about things. No nonsense type of guy, but they're, another team didn't get QB right. I know he wasn't obviously there when they drafted Daniel Jones, but I have no clue the thought process behind that. I know he's 6'5", and they kind of thought he was like Eli, which that also was really insane to me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to definitely go under on that. They have the weapons. They do not have the quarterback. He's coming off of an extreme injury with the neck injury. He also had, I think he had a knee injury as well. So he's just kind of injury prone on top of the fact that he doesn't really take care of the ball that well either, has a lot of fumbles. So I'm going to go under, and they're another team that needs to get QB right immediately, or else, Dable's going to be a product of their, their demise, basically.
Yeah. They, because the Brian Dable hire is like I guess it's like a double-edged sword, where it's like they hired him, they saw the success, and because of that, they thought, let's pay Daniel Jones and give him an extension. It's like, that's what you saw there was why the franchise tag was made. Like, Daniel Jones had a good year, you franchise tag him, see if it's sustained, then we talk about an extension. But the fact that they saw 1 year of success with a new head coach who's a good head coach and just was like, all right, let's pay him, just set their franchise back years. It really hurt them. And I don't see any sort of chance for them to go over that. 6.5 isn't a lot of wins, but I don't see it. I don't think there's a path for them to get there. Next is the Minnesota Vikings at 6.5 as well.
I think I've talked to you about this a little bit off. I don't really like the Vikings team this year, but 6.5 is low. That's pretty low. So I'm going to go over, but I'm going to also say with that if JJ McCarthy starts, I feel like he's going to have a rough year. Or I think he's going to, maybe sit this year if he doesn't, if there's not like some type of injury to Sam Darnold, or he doesn't somehow overtake him in camp. But I think Sam Darnold might end up, starting the full year, because there's been a lot of shots of him in camp, missing a lot of throws and stuff like that. So I know it's early, obviously, it's nothing to be too alarmed about, but I just kind of feel like he's a project out of, all the quarterbacks that were just drafted. And so I'm going to go over, but I'm going to say if he does play, he's going to struggle.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest key for me. Even with Sam Darnold, I think he'll struggle too, because he's yet to show that he's right. Capable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And even with, I like their head coach, and I like Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator. He's done a great job, but their defense definitely overachieved last year in terms of talent. They are severely lacking, and they played really well because of that defensive coordinator they have and that scheme. He had them really playing well, but I could definitely see them negatively regressing this year and not, playing at that same level. So and that division too is going to be a bloodbath with the Bears and the Lions and the Packers. So
Yeah, I could see them being
I
fourth,
think it's
honestly.
going to be hard.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see them
yeah,
being fourth.
definitely.
I like the Dallas Turner pick. I think he adds to the defense and helps them a lot. I really thought they needed, some more corner depth. I know they took Kyrie Jackson later, but to your point, that's an issue there. I think they kind of thought more of like the Giants situation where, okay, we have the coach and the offensive philosophy, and then we have the best receiver in the league. We have a rookie that we just drafted that had a great rookie season. We have TJ Hawkinson. We have great tackles, offensive line altogether. Okay, that can carry whoever's at QB. Not all the time. You can't think that way in every situation, and especially with unproven guys. Like sometimes you can do like a Jacoby Brissett type of thing where they're the bridge guy, but they have proven themselves. That they can go to a team because they're kind of like the journeyman and they've done it. But Sam Darnold has been the journeyman and he hasn't done anything. And then you got the rookie who is either going to be boom or bust depending on what happens. So it's like, yeah, the thought process on that, I didn't really understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Next is the Arizona Cardinals at 6.5.
Yeah, man, I really like the draft that they had. They had a lot of picks. And I think they maximized on all of them, or a majority of them. And I'm gonna go over. I think if Kyler stays healthy, that just with the new regime, I know you don't like, I know you don't like Jonathan Gannon. So I know you're rooting for that.
I'm going
for that
under.
You're going to go under.
Yeah.
I never knew that, but yeah, I think 6 is
Yeah.
low, and I like kind of what they've been starting to do. And with Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he's going to go absolutely crazy. He's been a ready-made pro 2 years ago, and so Kyler has the arm. He has the dual threat, obviously ability. He just got to stay healthy, and I don't think 6 is going to be hard for them. Honestly, it can still be 8 or 7, miss the playoffs, but 6 is just too low.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think I'm still just not a believer in the head coach, and yeah, even with a good offense, I think it'll be tough. That division's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison are definitely going to get theirs, and even the former Steeler James Conner was doing well in that offense last year. So yeah, they definitely will be able to score some points. Yeah,
yeah. Trey Benson.
Yeah.
That's what I'm a fan. Florida State rookie. Let's see what you can do. Let's see if you can carve out RB1 role in camp.
Yeah. Next is the Tennessee Titans at 6.5.
Yeah, I think that's low as well. I really like what I saw in the small, amount of games that it was from Will Levis. I think, they're saying the new big three with, Treylon Burks and D Hop and Calvin Ridley, and they just picked up Tyler Boyd. So I guess they were saying that maybe Treylon Burks could be a trade prospect on that.
Yeah,
but
I was saying that.
The new trio, and I don't really feel like that's some crazy big three, but I like that they have Will and what he's doing. I think he needs to be a lot smarter with what the type of play that he's trying to be the buff guy, truck people and do all this crazy. Like, it's not college football anymore. You got to be smart. You already were injured, your senior year, doing those type of things and stuff like that. But I think people forget his junior year, why he started getting on draft boards is because he had weapons, he had a line, and then his senior year he lost all those things also with injury. But I think having weapons around him, he can do his thing. So I'm gonna go over on that.
Yeah. I think they'll go over. They will go over as well. Yeah, the offense should be much improved. He has a lot of pieces to work with.
Yeah.
It's just more a matter of new head coach. So we'll see.
Yeah, staying healthy, defense helping out, and all that. But yeah, I also like their offensive line coach, Bill Callahan. He's one of the best offensive coaches in the league, and I think he's really gonna he's gonna do his thing with Peter Skoronski. They got JC Latham from Bama. I think it's gonna be a good tandem.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, yeah. Brian Callahan. I don't know why I'm blanking on coaches today. Brian Callahan, yeah, new head coach. We'll
Yeah,
see how he
and
does
his dad is
replacing
Bill.
Mike
Bill, I
Vrabel. But
think, the offensive line coach. He brought his dad over from
okay, yeah,
I want to say the Bengals, maybe. But yeah, he's a legendary offensive lineman coach in the league, really
yeah.
well respected. So, yeah, see what they can do.
Browns. He was with the Browns.
Browns, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Um, next is the Washington Commanders at 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. Really like the pick in Jaden Daniels. Never thought, him starting at ASU that he was gonna become what he did. So, you know, props to him, and I really think he's going to be their franchise guy. I think he's special. You see a lot of the reports coming out. Everybody's saying that he has that aura, he has that "I'm that guy" type of thing, and so I think he's going to come in. He's going to be great for them. But I know they had a lot of picks in this last draft, but they still got some work to do. New regime, so hopefully they get it into order. But it's going to take some time, obviously, in any situation like that. So I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm under as well. We'll see what the QB is. The coach, Dan Quinn, as a head coach, wasn't anything special.
Yeah,
He really just had 1 year of success, that 2016 year, and that was mostly because of Kyle Shanahan. So,
right.
um,
Having
and then
Julio.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I like the vibes with the Commanders now. You get rid of that owner, new
Yeah.
ownership, new head coach, new QB. You sign some good vets. You're trying to set a standard, and let's see how it goes. So I think they'll be scrappy, but I don't think they're gonna get over 6.5 wins
Not
there.
this year.
Yeah. Next is the Denver Broncos at 5.5.
Man, that's really low as well. I don't think they're going to be very good this year, but very good, not very good can still be five, 6, 7 wins. So I'll have him like at 7 wins. See if Bo Nix can be anything that he was at Oregon. But overall, the team as a whole is not very scary at all. See if Sean Payton can still do his thing and kind of show that it wasn't just all Drew Brees and that just wasn't the outlier for him in New Orleans. But I'm going to go over because 5 is just real low.
Yeah, I hear you. I think they're going to be right around there, 5 or 6. I wouldn't be shocked if they got to 7, but I
Right.
think they're going to be right around there. And yeah, Bo Nix, we'll see what he can do. But
Yeah.
I'm
Not
gonna
a
go
huge
under. I'm gonna
fan
go under.
of him, but
Yeah,
see what can happen.
yeah. After that is the Carolina Panthers at 4.5.
Yeah, I know I've been saying a lot of these numbers have been low, but I'm gonna go under on that one because
Yeah,
I'm gonna say they actually are gonna hold the number 1 or number 2 overall pick in this 2025 draft because it's just still not enough. I'm glad they traded with us to get Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to be great for Bryce. They traded up in the draft to get Xavier Legette, so they did somewhat now after he's been there a year to get him some offensive weapons. But as a whole, they're not scary at all. They're not going to stop anybody consistently, in my opinion, defensively. So yeah, I'm going to go under, man. They're gonna struggle for sure.
yeah. I agree. It'll be improved, but not anything to where they're gonna win a lot of games. We'll see what Dave Canales, the new head coach, can do with Bryce. After seeing what he did with Baker, I'm encouraged that it's gonna be a much better situation for him. And yeah, in terms of vibes, it's the opposite. To the Commanders, they probably have the worst owner in the league, and just a guy who's very controlling and not good at
Not
his role.
professional.
So I'm not a fan. I'm not rooting against Bryce and them, but I just don't think they're set up for success. So
No, not at all.
I'm gonna go
But I
under
will say,
there.
I don't think Bryce is the issue. I know nowadays we want to jump on QBs and say that they're the worst thing ever, right away if they're not what we expected to be, especially what we expect them to be, especially if they were really, amazing in college the way Bryce was, but I don't think he's the problem. I'll say that. I think he definitely bounces back, but to your point, he just doesn't have the help and the direction, that other quarterbacks have. So hopefully he gets that.
Yeah. And then lastly is the New England Patriots at 4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I think Drake May, boom or bust as well. Some stuff coming in that maybe he's going to need to sit, and so that's why they have Jacoby there. But as a whole, everyone talks about how crazy, amazing the defense is, and that's all, great. I really like Christian Gonzalez. I think if he doesn't get him, he has a great season. I really like him. Definitely feel like he's going to be a top corner very soon here. Offensively, it's just not there. They're going to have some tackle issues as well. They don't have very good tackles, and then the weapons are just not, overwhelming. So I'm definitely going to go under.
Yeah, they had a good draft, but it's going to take more than that. We got to see what they have as a team, and they had 0 Pro Bowlers last year. I think you've talked about it before. Christian Gonzalez is really the bright light, the spotlight of that defense, and it'll be good to see him back and healthy because he's a really good player.
Yeah,
but yeah, we don't know what they're going to be. That's another one. Whole new coach, GM. Everything is new over there. They're trying to move past the Belichick Brady era, so we'll just have to see what they are. But being a Patriots hater, I'm going to definitely say under. But I also have, I feel like, logical reasons as to why.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, then let's transition to grind my gears and wrap this thing up.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna start it off because it's a little long one. I don't know if people saw on social media and stuff. LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson have a podcast together, and this past week they talked about just their kind of relationship with Chip Kelly and everything that kind of went down there, and just my I guess my grind my gear segment is just Chip Kelly's just ruined a great Eagles team, and in some ways he led to us winning a Super Bowl with like the Lane Johnson draft pick, I think was him, and there was some analytical things he did in terms of like taking care of your body and tracking all those things. I think that was still implemented, and Jeff Stoutland, he was hired when Chip Kelly was there, and he's been there since, and he's one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. But that being said, fuck Chip Kelly, and I just am very sick that he traded away LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso, who was the bottom 5 in overall grade the year we traded for him, just because he didn't like Shady, and he cut Djax because of some bullshit article that was written about how he has gang ties and supported a murderer just because he paid for his lawyer, and the case, he beat the case, and they took a picture when they picked him up from jail, and they used that picture to say that like he's a gang member and all this shit. And that guy who wrote that article hasn't tweeted in like a week, since this podcast came out. He's gone ghost. It's like, I know you're not on vacation, nigga. Like, where are you at? Show your face. Like, go apologize for taking millions off of Deshaun Jackson's table and ruining his credibility in the league. All that to say, you guys should definitely check out that podcast. It's basically an hour of them just going in on Chip Kelly, but like, yeah, one of the main things I didn't like was he was saying that Shady was really saying that he just wasn't comfortable with black players and his star players, and the way he went about it was very strange, and he treated them weird, and he told a rookie cornerback to cut his hair to look more presentable get a haircut like Shady. You want to look more presentable. Shit like that is just does not fly. I don't care who you are, where you come from, but like you don't tell a black person to cut their hair to look a certain way to fit your standard. Fuck that. And so Chip Kelly grinds my gears. That's my rant, and definitely check out the 2510 podcast. Shout out to D Jackson and Shady, Philly legends.
Sir. Yeah. Mine is kind of similar, just being, just being lazy and just a shitty person in general about the way you do your professional job that you get paid a lot of money for. And that's just leaking information that's not true when you are part of the media, a journalist, you're working for whatever publication for the NFL. And the example I'll use is just, a journalist leaking that Najee Harris was the reason why we didn't, try to get a deal done with him, and us declining his 5th-year option was because he wanted that to be done. He wants out of Pittsburgh. And so not even an hour or two after that was, stated, his agent comes out and says that, like, your little birdie that you supposedly have, because that's, how it was described, is extremely wrong, because Najee has never wanted to be out of Pittsburgh. He's always stood up for Coach Tomlin and the Steelers and everything. And he's been a leader since he's been there and all those things, and never had any issues off the field or anything like that, or any issues with people within the organization or on the team or anything like that. So it's lazy. And like I said, it's just being shitty, man. You don't need to try to be first in things, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you're the 7th person to post something, but you're the one who got it, exactly right, everyone, including whatever it's about, is going to appreciate that more than the first person that put it out there. And so don't just, go and tweet things just because you feel like, you got to be the first person, and whatever the case may be. It's just like, man, have some type of dignity in the work that you do. So that's mine, man. Just be a credible human being, have some type of respect about yourself and for other people. So.
Yeah. It feels like these days, people just don't want to have that sort of credibility and accountability. They just kind of say what they say, and then if they mess up, oh, sorry, but it's like the damage is already done. You already ruined your credibility, and you messed up someone's like profile and shit. And yeah, I don't like that either. So I'm with you.
Right.
But yeah, that's all we got for today on the Steelbirds podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Follow us on Instagram at the Steelbirds podcast on Instagram, and follow me and Brock on Instagram and Twitter at ItsyBoyCK and at Brock_IV.
Yes, sir.
And we will catch y'all next week.
Yeah, peace.